one of the problems that I see with a lot of people my age is dark circles.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's related to your sleep hygiene and,
Sure. And
all the
hydration.
theoretical things about
Yeah.
right sleep. I think that's what one needs to prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even to a large degree, I do that as well. But even in phases where my dark circles start to fade, I don't think that I'm sleeping well enough, even though I'm taking the precautions. And while I speak for myself here, I'm also speaking for a lot of people my age.
Okay.
So it's kind of a topic I want to open up with you.
Okay.
We've done enough and more podcasts related to sleep hygiene in terms of sleep in a dark room, sleep in a cold room, stay away from screens, stay away from food near bedtime. What helps me a lot before sleeping is 15 to 20 minutes of stretching and 15 to 20 minutes of some spiritual practice like meditation or prayer.
Okay.
But I think I'm doing something fundamentally wrong in my thinking process through the day, which is not letting me enter deeper realms of sleep at night.
Okay.
The question I have for you is, you've worked with Premier League footballers, athletes. I'm sure you work with Olympic athletes. I'm sure you've worked with countless billionaires. When you notice a high-performing individual who's not able to sleep well despite trying to sleep well and trying to do all the things right, what do you tell them?
Well, I tell them never to use the word trying, because trying implies failure. Trying to sleep is like saying, I'm going to try and pick up a pencil. You'd never say, I'm going to try and eat my lunch. I'm going to try and drink my water. So the very word trying implies, it's a misdirect. It implies failure. So when you say, I'm going to try to sleep tonight, that doesn't mean you're going to sleep at all. And in fact, the brain is very driven by words and what words mean. And our greatest fear as human is to fall. The fall, most of our fears come because of our thoughts. We think thought like, I'm scared of that mouse, or, oh, I don't like snakes. But actually the fear of falling is wired into us before we're born. So if you pick up a tiny baby, they do that. And they have a very powerful grip because they are wired to fear falling even when they're born. That's why they have that startle reflex. So here's the thing, the human brain doesn't like falling. And if you go and stand up, went to the bird and look down, your stomach will just go, what are you doing? Your legs will turn to jelly, because if you look down from a high building, that fear of falling is wired in. So here's the thing, you go, now I'm going to fall asleep. You've got into bed. The last thing you want is to fall out of that bed. And we do another thing, we get into bed, we put on and go, I'm going to sleep, but you're not actually going anywhere. In fact, you're doing the opposite of going. You've turned off the light, shut the door, you got into bed, there's nowhere for you to go. So you have to change that word to sleep is coming to me. So it's really a matter of reprogramming the brain. And when your eyes roll up in that sleep state, you're going to alpha, and in alpha state, the brain is very programmable. So just stop talking about falling and going and say, every time I get into bed, sleep comes to me, descends upon me, stays with me. The other problem is a lot of people get into bed and think, they're all day, they're on screens, they're on the phone, they're watching, and then they get in and they go, oh, fine. And the brain goes, finally, I've got you now. Let's go over all things you could have, should have, would have done, because it's the only time when you don't have a screen on. So then you have to say to the brain, listen, I'm choosing sleep, send sleep. I'm not planning to go over anything I could have, should have, would have done. This is the time to sleep. You're a bit like a battery, We know with our phone, we plug it in and leave it alone. We don't keep taking it out of the socket every minute to look at it. So just like a battery, you must recharge.
You've just kind of given out a bit of a sleep meditation here, right? This is what
definitely.
it is.
Yeah.
Like, you lie down, try staying on the bed.
You lie down, you lie down, you roll up your eyes, like very important. You want to go into an alpha brainwave, which is the most programmable brainwave. And you get into alpha by looking up. You breathe in and out 3 times. On the third exhalation, you keep your eyeballs up and you just close the lids. Now you're in alpha. And you can give yourself really good suggestions. But of course, the mind only responds to words that make a picture. So saying, I'm not feeling anxious is a silly thing to say, because the only word in there that is anxious. So you need to say things like, I'm so sleepy. I love sleeping. Sleep's coming to me. I'm enjoying 8 hours of beautiful, rejuvenating sleep. And while you're doing it, you try, I don't like the term, but be as still as you can. So let's imagine you're in bed, you're lying in bed, you roll up your eyes, but also keep your body still. Because when you're in the yoga position, the corpse position, you often tend to sleep because The body responds very well to stillness, a lot of strength in stillness. So be as still as you can. Roll up your eyes. It does help to have a very, very dark room. I use sleep masks a lot because it's so bright in Dubai. And a pitch black room will reset your metabolic rate, will reset your immune system. So there's a lot to be said. We forget that our ancestors didn't have light. They slept a lot. Now we sleep a lot less because we have so much light and light pollution. So it does help to be in the dark. But I can sleep in daylight anywhere because I've trained my brain that when I roll up my eyes on a plane or even lying on the sofa and tell my brain, send sleep to me. Now it always does.
So the more you keep doing the sleep meditation, the easier it becomes in the long term.
Yes, and also no baby says, hey, I can't sleep, it's too light, it's too warm, it's too cold. Babies sleep sitting upright. They sleep in your arms, they sleep in a chair, they fall asleep in a sandpit. Babies will sleep anywhere because they haven't learned that habit of worrying.
Marisa, growing up is a little painful.
Can be. Can be very painful. Depends who you grow up with, but yes, it can be very painful.
I think I'm still growing up, and I'm talking about growing up through life.
Sure.
Not just growing up, before college. This whole process of adulting is, on some level, now the thing is I'm very careful about the words I'm using.
Good, that's a good thing. You see, your words shape your reality. If you don't like your reality, change your language. It changes everything, and it's so easy.